A South Florida man goes missing while working as a Lyft driver.
It doesn't add up at all.
And he was 74 years old. An inspiring project turns Hurricane Ian debris into art. And is a 4-day week the answer to finding work-life balance?
I mean, a 4-day work week sounds great.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Leanne Abutar-Bush.
I'm Elena Key, and today is Friday, February 3rd, 2023.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
A high-speed chase and a murder investigation 1,000 miles away all started with the case of a missing 74-year-old Uber driver here in South Florida. A man suspected of the disappearance of a Palm Beach County Lyft driver has been taken into custody in North Carolina.
74-year-old Gary Levine has been missing since Monday after he picked someone up for a Lyft drive. His drop-off point was supposed to be in Okeechobee, but his family grew worried when he didn't come home that evening. 5 days later, U.S. Marshals alerted local authorities that they saw someone driving Gary's car. Cops followed the car in what ended up being a high-speed chase, where they eventually arrested the suspect, Flores.
I know it's pretty radical chase pursued through our county. It's just one of these deals where, the type of crime that the suspect was wanted for, we had to pursue until the suspect was apprehended.
Flores is expected to appear in North Carolina court today.
A janitor is recovering at the hospital after spending days accidentally locked inside a Central Florida jail cell. 72-year-old Livia Vargas de Dinas was at the Orange County Courthouse cleaning around 9:30 when the door shut behind her. She left her janitorial cart and cell phone outside the cell. She spent the weekend there without food and she's diabetic. Orange County is taking measures to ensure this doesn't happen again.
A mysterious spy balloon is soaring over the United States. A huge balloon floating over northern parts of the United States is said to be a surveillance device sent from China, according to a Senator U.S. defense official. It poses no threat to air traffic, but could be looking into our cell phones and government information.
Thursday could be the new Friday if a group of lawmakers just outside of Washington, D.C. get their way. As Rachel Costa from our D.C. Bureau reports, a 4-day workweek pilot program and income tax credit bill have been proposed.
I'm here in Montgomery, Maryland, where thousands of employees work 5 days a week, clocking in 40 hours. But that could change if a bill passes the General Assembly and employers opt into this pilot program. The Maryland bill proposes a 32-hour workweek pilot program without salary reductions, where public or private companies will get a state tax credit in return. If passed, the program would have a trial period of 5 years, but companies can choose if they want to participate.
I mean, a 4-day work week sounds great. That's just sort of my opinion.
A 4-day work week is not a new concept and has been tried in other places, including Florida. Brick Media, a social media management agency in Tampa, started a 3-month trial in January for a similar system of reduced work hours. So far, the trial has been a success, and the employees are happier and come back from the long weekend with more creative ideas.
Our clients think it's a great thing that we're promoting work-life balance at Brick Media because they know that happy employees are going to lead to better work for them anyways. So it's one of those things where if you take care of your team, your customers are going to feel the results of that anyways.
Companies have discussed this method as a way of combating burnout, stress, and lack of productivity. According to the nonprofit 4-Day Week Global, after a 6-month trial with over 30 companies around the world, the majority of them plan to continue the program.
In some ways, I think it would be helpful to have a better work-life balance. And in other ways, speaking from the point of an organization, you want to be sure that you have the full 40 hours, basically, of a work week because you need your workers.
The bill is expected to get its first hearing in Senate early this month, but the sponsors are cautiously optimistic about it. Reporting for South Florida Media Network from Silver Spring, Maryland, I'm Rachel Costa.
The best ingredients when going out for drinks are friends and flavors. But as the network's Sabrina Begery-Stein reports, the ingredients you may not need anymore is alcohol.
The mocktail movement is in full swing as more and more restaurants are implementing non-alcoholic beverages to their menus. Behind me is Clyde's Alley Bar, a restaurant in DC, which is just one example of the rising market for those looking to consume less alcohol while still enjoying a well-made beverage. 60% of Americans are more concerned about their physical health now than they were before the COVID outbreak, according to DSM.com. People nationwide are participating in challenges like Sober October and Dry January to take a break from alcohol or cut it out altogether.
A lot of people who just don't want to drink. They want to go out, they want to have a good time, they want to spend time with their friends, but a lot of people have gone dry. They've seen the negatives that alcohol can have, and they wanted to have a cleaner life. So they'll find different alternatives.
According to data by NelsonIQ.com, the major force behind the Sober Curious movement are younger individuals looking for healthier substitutes to standard drinks. This shift is causing more bars and restaurants to be inclusive about their drink menus.
They're seeing all this negativity in the news about revolving around alcohol. It's my hypothesis from my research, but they're seeing all this negativity and they're choosing to reject it. And I think that's going to be a big, interesting thing to see.
Laura Silverman, founder of Booze Free in DC and Zero Proof Nation, mentions data done by the Zero Proof Company revealed that Washington, DC is welcoming non-alcoholic drinks now more than ever.
While it might be one of the top binge drinking towns or just heavy drinking towns, it is also rising very, very fast in non-alcoholic consumption.
The mixologist here at Clyde's Alley Bar explained that mocktails and cocktails tend to be the same price due to fresh ingredients and the intricate process that goes into creating these non-alcoholic beverages. I'm Sabrina Breckerstein in Washington, D.C. for the South Florida Media Network.
Recycled Hurricane Ian debris transformed into a work of art. Bradford Herman is a recycle artist from Fort Myers that collected debris from Hurricane Ian to create a giant ant display. This project is made from 150 coconuts and that he has been working on for 4 months. Each ant that is sold will be bringing the community some money back to help Hurricane Ian victims. It all comes down to a former Miami Dolphin as the NFL's best players play dodgeball.
That's still ahead, and so is this story. The Heat game in New York City comes down to the last 2.1 seconds. When we come back, it's Esteban Rodriguez with sports.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
And now, SFMN Sports with Esteban Rodriguez.
Anything can change in a New York minute, and the Heat tried to make that happen at Madison Square Garden. Hello, South Florida. I'm Esteban Rodriguez with today's sports from the sideline. And just a few hours before the game, the Heat center Bam Adebayo was named reserve for the 2023 All-Star game, and he had one of his best games against the New York Knicks. Adebayo scored a total of 32 points and was effective on the court as well with 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. However, despite Bam Bam's efforts, the Heat still left New York with a loss. The final score was the Heat 104, Knicks 106. The Heat will go on to play the Bucks in Milwaukee tomorrow at 8 p.m. Inter Miami played its first MLS preseason match of the season, but this morning you won't find any evidence of who won or lost. The friendly with the New England Revolution happened around midday yesterday. All we have is the tweet from the Revolution saying that the teams have agreed to keep fans and the media out, and both clubs have agreed to not share any details from the match. The next exhibition match for Inter Miami is next Saturday against Columbus. The NFL's best players get together and have a field day in Vegas. Pro Bowl weekend kicked off yesterday with football's best stars playing a variety of challenges like precision passing, golf, and dodgeball. Current Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill was the first one out in the first game in the dodgeball tournament, while ex-Dolphins safety Minkah Fitzpatrick was the last one left for the AFC against 3 NFC players and of course, Fitzpatrick had no chance of winning, and all 3 NFC players were able to strike him out. That's all for today's sports. I'm Esteban Rodriguez from the sideline. Now back to your anchors.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Elena Keith.
I'm Leanne Abutalbush. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.